Okay. Sige, let's just, so we still have less than a minute before we start our discussion. Okay. So I owe you several sessions, right? So let's just have a makeup schedule for maybe after the wellness break. So what's your our common free time? So what's your free time? So I can take note of it para kung pwede ba ako doon while waiting for the others. If
Prof,
mm,
every Tuesday and Friday po ba?
kahit na anong day na mag-fit din sa free time ko.
Kasi po, kapag po Monday and Thursday, ang break time po namin ay 11 to 1. And after po nun kasi meron pa po kaming class ng 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Definitely hindi pala ako pwede ng MTH kasi I have three classes pag MTH, 7 to 11, 1 to 3, so 11 to 1 din yung break ko. So kung TF o kaya Wednesday, kung amenable ang lahat, if ever lang na talagang kailangan natin kasi for your, niaalat ko yun especially for your, yung inyong initial demo at final demo para dito sa pinaka-final requirement dito sa course na to. Sige, tingnan nyo muna mamaya ko na, pag TF, ilan, di ba sabi niyo 7 to 11 lang kayo pag TF? Kami,
Ano, yes po, 7 to 11. But may cases po kasi na nag-extend kami until 3 p.m. Gawa po ng meron po kaming makeup classes. And ayun po, meron din po kaming ibang kasama na hindi po ata available ng 3 p.m.
so
onwards.
most probably Wednesday. Ang kailangan ko lang naman if ever ay, ito yung siguro for demo, pero for lecture, or di ba may official online schedule tayo. So most probably, pag time na yun, hindi na ako mag-asynchronous. Kung as needed, initial lang. So malamang-lamang siguro Wednesday. Tingnan natin, okay? So for now, so let's go over the template given after our lecture for today. Siguro pag na-cover ko na yung lesson for today. So for now, so let's have a continuation of our discussion last time, right? So what was the last topic that we have covered? So after your presentation of your each group, each breakout, we had a breakout activity 2 weeks ago, right? And you had your presentation. So after that, we were able to discuss the different types of thinking. Tama ba? Yun yung last natin.
Yes po, Prof.
Okay, that's the last. Then nagkaroon na kami ng sa book evaluation. So that's beyond my control kasi I was given 2 sets of books. So when I say 2 sets, one textbook, one manual. So 2 sets, so 2 textbooks and 2 manuals. And that is for each pair of textbook and manual, that's around more than 600 pages. So hindi talaga kakayanin ng makasingit na magklase. Though meron naman kaming official na memo from the president about that. Okay, so let's try to start now with, let's have a continuation of our discussion last time, right? So we already started with this topic, that's making thinking visible in the mathematics classroom. This will cover the possible strategies that will help you, or that it will give you an idea how you're going to have the problem solving demonstration. Why is it that in particular I chose problem solving demonstration? And I'm not requiring you to have a lesson plan kasi wala pa naman kayo dun sa stage ng uh, for that course, right? So my only goal for this one is for you to develop your ability to explain. Kaya problem solving, so that you will not be just be considering computations using symbols. So it will require you to uh, hone your ability to explain, right? So to develop somehow your fluency in explaining what is how you're going to solve that problem kasi mas maraming chances for you to do the explanation part if it's a problem solving activity, right? Okay, so let's continue with the making thinking visible in the mathematics classroom, right? So we already answered this last time. What is thinking, right? And we said that it's a mental process of analyzing, reasoning, problem solving, and making decisions. And you already answered this question, right? And we also discussed these types of thinking, if I'm not mistaken. We were able to finish up to the fifth one, right? So we have the critical thinking, creative thinking, analytical thinking, reflective thinking, and intuitive thinking, right? Ito yung last natin, tama ba ako?
Yes po, Prof. Ayan po yung last.
Ito yung last and ito yung naging output nyo when you answered the what is thinking. Now, so let's try to continue. So we have the visible thinking approach. So as indicated on my slide, says here it was a project initiated by the Harvard Graduate School of Education. So that's called the Project Zero. And with this Project Zero, this includes the multiple intelligences. I know you are familiar with this one from your prof ed classes maybe. So you have your linguistic intelligence, right? You have your logical, mathematical. What else? You also have your musical, bodily kinesthetic, special. What else? What else can you remember about the multiple intelligences? You also have your interpersonal and intrapersonal, right? Then you also have natural. So those are the multiple intelligences, and I'm sure you're already familiar with those intelligences. And we also have David Perkins Smart Schools. So what does this mean? So this one for the smart schools, this is an article that discusses about the need for better thinking and learning strategies. And the author mentioned some principles of smart schools, and that is one is we have thoughtful learning. And when we say thoughtful learning, that is we must be able to, in our lessons, in mark lessons, we must be able to encourage the understanding rather than memorization. Kasi pag rote memorization, pag may nakalimutan kayong key terms or keywords, mas mahirap ng maalala, right? But so for this smart school, so one of the principles mentioned there is thoughtful learning. So we must be able to develop the ability to have a deeper understanding of the materials that we are going to cover instead of just simply memorizing them. And another one is the generative knowledge, that is the ability to foster creativity and problem solving. That's why it was considered as one of the inclusions in the discussion of the visible thinking approach. Then we also have the reflective intelligence, or that's the ability to develop metacognition and self-awareness. And we usually do this one. We have the collaborative learning, right? So we know that collaboration is one of the 21st century skills. So I know in all your classes you do some collaborative work. So it's important for every one of us to be having a positive attitude towards social interaction, especially in education. Now, it says here, the visible thinking research explored the practicality of using thinking routines and documentation as classroom learning tools. So when we say thinking routines, these are structured strategies, and these strategies are designed to help students develop critical thinking skills and make the thought processes more visible. So as a teacher, it's important on our end to assess or to make the thinking of our students visible so that we can help them, so that we can it is an indicator on to us whether the students are coping with the lessons that we are introducing inside the classroom. So how many of them are doing well, how many of them needs assistance. So that's the time that it will guide us as a teacher. So on the preparation of the different set of activities that we are going to give in our classes, right? That's why it's important for us to make the vi- the thinking of our students visible. That's why I know you're already familiar with some thinking routines. Maybe you have been doing the think pair share. That's one example of thinking routine. And thinking routines, so it's essential that we consider a good set of questions. Di ba meron kayong course na when I was a student, we have a course about the art of questioning, right, in education, in facilitating the delivery of a certain lesson. So we must be able to develop that skill. So the developing or constructing a good set of questions or steps that will guide the students in organizing their ideas as we teach something so that they will be able to give their reasoning based on the information or material presented to them correctly. And as they reflect on their understanding, so we will be able to assess whether they are coping inside our math classes. So, so aside from think or share, we can also have the see, think, wonder. So that's also another example of a thinking routine. We also have, we will be considering some examples of the thinking routines that I have been mentioning earlier. So we also have the think, puzzle, and explore. So those are just some thinking, though there are several thinking routines that you can see online. Ito yung may basis, nakalagay naman dito yung aking course. So making thinking visible, that is by Richard Richard and Perkins in 2008. Okay, there are 6 principles of the visible thinking approach. So the first one is learning as a consequence of thinking. We have number 2, good thinking is not only a matter of skills, but also of matter disposition. So we have the third one is the development of thinking is a social endeavor. The fourth, fostering thinking requires making thinking visible. 5, classroom culture sets the tone for learning and shapes what is learned, and schools must be cultures of thinking for teachers. Why is it that we have to cover first this set of this lesson before the initial problem solving demonstration? So let's start with the first one. Learning is a consequence of thinking. So as stated here, it does not happen passively, right? So it results from engaged thought. So you really have to intentionally, if you want to learn a certain material, right? So you really have to take into action. You would like to find more materials that will help you understand that specific lesson that you would like to understand, right? So it says here, construct understanding through exploration, reasoning, and reflection. This in math, if I know maybe some of you are already fond of solving some puzzles, right? That is one hobby or activity that will help you develop your ability to construct understanding. So thinking drives learning, shapes comprehension and problem solving abilities. As an example, it says here, in solving complex problems, so we have to analyze patterns, recognize relationships, and apply logical steps. So there are actually several examples you can find with the problem solving demonstration activity. So I'm not requiring any specific topic. It's up to you to find a good material, a good problem that you can use in your demonstration, the that will encourage you or that will develop your ability to help your learners in the future how to analyze a certain problem and what are some strategies or approaches that you are going to use so that you will be able to make your problem solving activity productive and for your learners to have so that you can target the goal that you intend to for your learners to develop. And for the Matatag curriculum is that we have the ano na yun, yung 5 strands of the mathematical proficiency. So yun na yung kailangan nating ma-develop. And what are those 5 strands of mathematical proficiency? Of course, the first one is conceptual understanding, right? So you have to start with a good discussion of the concepts, math concepts that you will cover before you can expect your students to become procedurally fluent, right? That's the second one, procedural fluency. And then once they are already well equipped with the concepts that they need and with the different algorithms that they are going to use, so therefore you can also develop the third strand. And what's the third strand of mathematical proficiency? We have the conceptual, that's the first, procedural fluency, that's the second. What's the third one? We have your strategic, yes, strategic competence, right? So kung magaling na kayo sa concepts, you are already very good when it comes to the computations, then somehow the more concepts that you know, the more properties that you know, then the more alternative presentations of your solutions, right? You can have a more elegant or a more commendable set of solutions based on the problem, because we know that solving a problem is not unique, right? The more properties that you know, the more concepts that will help you come up with alternative presentations of the problems, the better. Okay, and what's the fourth one? So you already have stated the three. What's the fourth one? You have your adaptive reasoning, right? So adaptive reasoning, the ability to be able to give justifications for each step that you are using in your presentation. So with that, pag you have already that ability, ibig sabihin conceptually, malalim yung pagkaintindi nyo ng mga concepts, right? And then what's the fifth one? Oh, we already have mentioned the four. Ano yung panglima? Yun lagi kong nakakalimutan, which is the a productive disposition, right? That is the ability to see the relevance or importance of mathematics and also the attitude of the learners when it comes to learning math, right? So, yun yung 5 strands. Ano na ulit? Conceptual understanding. We have your procedural fluency, strategic competence. Ano na yung fourth natin?
Adaptive reasoning.
Yes, adaptive reasoning. And the fifth one is?
Productive
Yes,
disposition.
productive disposition. Yung kasi yung nakakalagay sa Matatag curriculum. So, dapat alam na alam nyo yung 5 strands of mathematical proficiency para sa in your study for every math course, at least na-integrate nyo yun or na-associate nyo yun. So, by the time that you are in the field doing your graduate in campus of campus. Okay? Now, let's have this example. If the length of the circle's radius is r, so this one, what is the length of x? Sige nga. Sabi natin, learning is a consequence of thinking. So you try to analyze this simple example, then you try to explain to me the strategy that you are going to use in solving for it, and why do you say so that that is the length of x? What makes you so certain? So you have to explain it. Sige, I'll give you a minute to analyze. Just feel free to raise your hand if you're ready to explain this one. may absent tayo, no? Sino ang ating class secretary? Pa-take note naman. Palagay sa chat box kung sino yung wala pa. Thank you. Oh, anyone who is ready to explain? So, if the length of the circle's radius is r, what is the length of x? So, this one, I'm not requiring any definite algorithm. So, yung pinaka-strategy nyo lang, explain niyo, then convince the class that is the length of x. So just remember that when we solve a certain problem, right? So you analyze the given illustration together with the given information. You take note of some possible relationships and apply logical steps, right? Because we know that thinking actively will drives learning, right? Anyone who is ready would like to discuss, explain nyo lang. Because this is the purpose of our course, right? Explain it clearly and give reasons for using those the steps that you have taken. Okay. Yes, Miss Viterbo.
Good morning po, Prof. I would like to share something about this problem.
Mhm.
So I noticed that there are radii, which is which is in the length of r, and
Mhm.
I assume that the radii is in the length of r because from the definition of a circle that if the length of that from the fixed point to from the fixed point po the other set of points is equidistant to that fixed point, so
Mhm.
therefore the length of this r is equal to the other radii. So from there I noticed that it formed a right triangle. So in my thought process po, Prof, is to use Pythagorean theorem. So the Pythagorean theorem states that in a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the legs. Since both legs are of the length r, that means x squared is equal to r squared plus r squared, and we take the square root of both sides. So we simplify that with x is equal to square root of the square root of 2r squared, and we simplify further to get x is equal to r square root of 2. That is all po. Thank you po.
Do you agree with the argument of Miss Viterbo that the length of x is r square root of 2. She mentioned that the length of the each leg is r. Do you agree also with that? I noted that she mentioned that earlier. That's why she was able to arrive at the length of x as r square root of 2. Do you agree that it's really r square root of 2? Because you integrated the concept of Pythagorean theorem. So if you try to look at the illustration, we only have there r, that's the radius of the circle, and then we have x. And she also noted that the figure form is a right triangle. But then the other leg, that is this one, if you are to consider the right triangle, ito yung sinasabi yung right triangle, right? This one. Kaya lang, yung isang leg, this one is less than r, right? So anyone would like to... That's the explanation of Miss Viterbo. How about the others? The question is it correct that x is r square root of 2? Do you agree with her explanation? So she mentioned some known concepts. Did she use those concepts correctly? Is each part of her analysis correct? Did you take note of some ideas that she mentioned while explaining? It's correct that we have a right triangle, this one, right? This. So by looking at the illustration, any other idea or ideas that will help you determine the length of x? Yes, Miss Magalong.
Gusto ko lang po sabihin na I don't agree with Miss Viterbo's answer po na x is equal to r square root of 2. Kasi po, if we use that answer, dapat po yung endpoints ng x natin is naglalay din sa endpoint nung r po natin. But hindi po ganun yung case. So, ang naiisip ko po here is we name po ano po ba tawag dito? Let's assume po na yung dinadantayan po nitong x natin dito sa pangtaas po is half po ng r. Yan po, ma'am. Let's assume na that is 1/2 r.
So this is your assumption that this is
Opo.
1/2 of r.
Yes po. Tapos, tapos let a po, yung dito po, yung hindi po kasama dito sa x sa baba.
This one.
Yes po. Yan. So, yung distance po nito sa kasama sa x is yung r minus a.
So this one is your r minus a.
Yes po. And then we use Pythagorean theorem po.
So if that's the case, what will you get as the length of x?
Length of x would be square root of r minus a squared plus 1/2 r squared. And
Square root of, come again?
Square root
X.
of the square of the difference of r and a plus the square of the product of 1/2 and r.
So if you try to simplify that further, what's the simplified form? So that is by the Pythagorean theorem. So that is logical presentation, right? So if you try to simplify that, what are you going to have?
Wait lang po, ma'am. Kagagaling ko lang po kasi sa labas. Sulat ko lang po.
Okay. Okay, so yun yung binigay ni Miss, so even if she's not going to simplify it, do you agree with her assuming that this is 1/2 of r. Do we have enough basis for assuming that that is 1/2 of r? What's your basis for assuming that it's 1/2 of r? Is it correct for us to assume that one? No. Okay. So if there is no basis, then most probably, so it will not be, it's not proper for us to consider it as something. There's nothing wrong with this one, assuming or denoting this length, this one as denoting this as A, right? Because we do not know the definite length. What we just know is that from the center to a point on the circle, that is just r, and this is just and we know that this one is r minus a. That's correct. There's nothing wrong with that. The only question there is assuming that this is 1/2 of the length of the radius, right? Okay, so another idea on how to hanggang sa maka-generate tayo ng mas magandang explanation with that. So basta meron kayong na point out some certain gap or parang butas, then most probably there's something wrong with that. Kasi yung kanina kay Miss Viterbo, she assumed that the legs are both of length r, right? That's how she obtained the r square root of 2. Now with Miss Magalong, she is assuming that this length is just 1/2 of the radius. So medyo question mark din yon. Okay? So dapat we are doing this para pag sa inyong problem solving demonstration activity, no gap will be pointed out in your explanation. So dapat ay pulido, kumbaga, yung pag-explain yon. No gray areas. Okay, so anyone who can give me another explanation? So I repeat, this is an English format course, so everyone is highly encouraged to share your thoughts, ideas, and explain. Yes, Mr. Dunka.
Prof, if it's not given po, I think we should just write it as a variable to be safe po.
Okay,
Same
so
as Princess, nilagyan niya lang po ng variable yung kabila po, which is A. Tapos to get the length of the legs of the triangle, we subtract r from A, and the other leg we
subtract
will
r from
make
A, that is incorrect. You are not subtracting r from A, but rather you are subtracting A from R.
A
Yun
from
yung mga,
Sorry po.
take note nyo ng mga explanation nyo para hindi makagulo, okay?
Yes
Sige.
po.
And
The
then,
other leg would be let's represent it with a variable. Let's say what po? Y.
let's just say this is Y.
Yes. Yes po.
Okay.
So ano po? For me po uh, ang length po ni x is the square root of the square of ano po pasa doon?
Sige,
The
say,
square of the r minus a.
you
r
say
minus
it
a
correctly,
squared.
di ba? Yung purpose ng course natin.
Nahirapan po ako mag-English. And y squared. And y squared po.
That is the length of x with those representations. But can you determine the definite length of x? Is it possible for you to determine the definite length of x with respect to the given illustration? Is it possible? Yun lang yung given information natin, that the length of the circle's radius is r, and the length of x unknown. So we would like to solve for the length of x. With that given information, kaya ba natin isolve si x? So sabi nyo, just look at the illustration. Sige, tingnan nyo yung ating illustration. So there's nothing wrong with your mathematical representation with the equation. That's correct, right? So you just denoted this as y because we're not sure of its definite length. We just know that this has a definite length and we just denote it as y. This one is also as A, and this one is just R minus A. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with this one. This is correctly done, right? So with this, any other way of discussing this one? So sabi natin ito. So this one is a triangle. So if I'll do this, ano nakikita yung length ni X? This is just exactly the same as this one. What's the length of X? The length of X. So from here, nusod ko lang siya doon. What's the length of X? Yes, Miss Magalong.
Ang nangyayari po dyan is x is equal to r.
X is equal to R. So that's, kunyari meron kayong paper and pen, so you can do that. So X is equal to R. Another, any other ideas that you, so walang tama to, X is equal to the square root of the square of R minus A plus the square of Y. So if you try to look at this one, so notice that X is just equal to R, right? Any other idea or ideas? How are we going to verify that X is really equal to R based on the given illustration and the given information? Any further proof or verification or justification that X is really equal to R? This is problem solving. So when we say problem solving, so there's no definite algorithm as long as you can justify your ideas, your thought processes, your presentations, and we cannot point out any gray area, then maybe it's acceptable, right? Any other, aside from this one, so meron din ito, kung gagawin ko siya, ano nakikita ninyo? Does this justify that X is equal to R? And why? What is the figure that we have there? It's a rectangle. And what do you know about a rectangle? What are some of the characteristics of a rectangle that is useful in justifying that X is equal to R? Feel free to say your ideas. So, di ko naman sasabihin na stop, that's wrong, no? Everyone is highly encouraged to share your thoughts or ideas how we are going to solve this. So with the, what are some of the characteristics of a rectangle that will justify that X is really equal to R with this given specific illustration and information? What can you say about the diagonals of a rectangle? Anyone can still remember what you have learned about the characteristics of a rectangle? Yes, the lengths of the diagonals have the same measurement because they are congruent. That's correct. Since they are congruent, so therefore it means to say that this one is also, so if you try to have this. So eto ay, ano lang to? That's also your, ano nakikita nyo? This one is, ano to? Ano to? Diagonal. So diagonal, and you said that the diagonals are congruent. So therefore, X is really equal to R, right? Tama? X is equal to R. And kung yari lang may specific lengths and measurements, then you can make use of this one, that X is equal to the square root of the square of R minus A plus Y squared. Tama? O, yun yung mga types of problems. Pag-isipan nyo, hanap kayo ng magandang problems that you can do for your presentation so that you can have, you can challenge yourselves to explain better for better understanding inside the classroom so that you can also do a commendable facilitation so that you can highly encourage your learners, future learners, to appreciate problem solving. Kasi maraming bata ayaw ng problem solving, right? So you make it more interactive and as much as so it will start from you, how you're going to explain it, how are you going to present it. So make it more engaging, more enjoyable, fun, and at the same time, of course, you're integrating the different concepts that they have learned. So for the intended demonstration, problem solving activity demonstration, so you are free to find any problem that you are comfortable doing it and be able to explain it well. Okay. So this is one example. So we are saying that learning is a consequence of thinking, right? So you think of what are some of the concepts that you already have learned that you can associate to it. So you did it correctly. So right, you are considering a right triangle, the Pythagorean theorem, and then you also consider the characteristics of a rectangle. So in particular, we have the diagonals of a rectangle. Parang mga ganun yung gusto kong ipagawa sa inyo. Pag-isipan ninyo, isip kayo, hanap kayo ng magandang problem na pwede nyong gamitin sa inyong problem-solving demonstration. So you are given 20 minutes, so you already, paano ginawa nyong pairing? So did you choose someone you are comfortable, someone that you can rely on, that you are at ease working with that someone, or random? Anong ginawa niyong technique in choosing a partner?
Nag-choose po kami, Prof.
Okay, sige. Okay lang yan para at least mas maganda yung magiging working relationship ninyo. Meron tayong isang group lang na tatlo sila kasi 31 na lang kayo. Oh, syempre, someone na you're comfortable with because you're just starting with the activity. Tapos kung ano yung based on the initial presentation, based some comments from classmates, yun, for refinement, yun yung magiging pinaka-final demo ninyo. So, kaya nga sabi ko, it's a work in progress as we go through the course. And mag-con din tayo ng plan A, plan B for if just in case na matapat sa online yung schedule nyo, then you prepare something for an online setup. Kung face-to-face naman, then for face-to-face, dapat may plan A, plan B kayo. Is that clear?
Yes po, Prof.
Para kahit na ano yung ma-declare na teaching modality natin, be it face-to-face or online, you are ready. Okay? So this is one example. So that learning is a consequence of thinking. Next one is the next tawag natin dito. Key principle is that good thinking is not only a matter of skills but also a matter of disposition. Sabi naman natin one of the 5 strands of mathematical proficiency is productive disposition, right? Para makita natin yung importance ng mathematics, yung relevance ng math. So thinking is not just about ability, it's about habits of mind, right? So training your thinking ability. Di ba yung mga, I know, who are, maybe some of you are here are fond of puzzles, answering some puzzles, yung Sudoku or any other type of puzzles. Maybe some of you are buying some books about puzzles. When I was a new teacher, so I'm fond of buying yung mga math puzzles, yung mga books. That's what I love to do before. Kasi elementary yung tinuturuan ko nung after ko magturo ng first 4 years sa high school, so I applied to another school in a Montessori school and they do not have high school yet that time, so walang choice. So nagturo ako ng elementary and that's how I make my math class engaging by giving them from time to time some puzzles for them to solve. So we know that thinking is not just about ability, it's about habits of the mind. So we know that a person can have reasoning skills, but maybe may lack curiosity, open-mindedness, or persistence. So it's also important for us to cultivate a growth mindset. So this one encourages individuals to embrace challenges and perseverance. So as an example, as noted here, sino sa inyo ang nakaka-appreciate ng proving? You have some proving activities from your set theory and logic class, from your plane geometry, and during your high school also. Sino ang may gusto ng proving? Miss Dumandan, Miss Viterbo, you like Miss De La Peña, who else? How about the others? So Mr. Corcuera, o si Mr. Dunca, ayaw niya ng prove, Miss Lanot. So bakit? So ano ang nagiging difficulty for those who are having difficulty in proving? What could be the possible reason? Kasi sabi natin, good thinking is not only a matter of skills, but also a matter of disposition. So, ibig sabihin yung talagang, yes, Mr. Dunca.
Ano po, Prof? Yung iba pong mga theorems and parang postulates, ang hirap po niyang, yung iba po, para sa akin po kasi ang hirap pong kabisaduhin ng iba. Tapos, pag parang yung ibang definitions po nila is parang same lang, which is pag inintindi mo po, dun mo po malalaman na may pagkakaiba. Which is kinda mahirap po pag parang kinabisado lang. Kailangan po talaga is unawain. Doon po ako nahihirapan.
Yes, that's what we have pointed out earlier, right? So, pag rote memorization lang talagang, yun, medyo shallow learning lang yun. So, if you try to understand it, kahit na hindi mo siya memorize, pag naintindihan mo, you can state it in your own words, right? So, dapat yun yung ability na ma-develop natin sa isa't isa. Lalo na kayo ay future math teachers. So, ma-exhibit nyo yun or ma-implement nyo yun sa mga students ninyo. Unti-unti, you can develop that ability to your students, right? So good thinking is not only a matter of skills, but also a matter of disposition. So isang bagay din kasi yung we can see the relevance of mathematics and the importance of studying math, and so that we can develop yung ability of our students to do it better, tsaka yung attitude nila towards math, right? So as an example, let's say, sabi nga natin, example natin, show that if a number is divisible by 9, then the sum of its digits is a multiple of 9. You have been using this maybe when you were in elementary, right? You are very much familiar with the divisibility rule by 9, tama? You give me one example of a 5-digit number that is divisible by 9. So you give me one example. A 5-digit number that's divisible by 9. Okay? Sino gusto magbigay ng isang example na divisible siya by 9? 5-digit number lang. Ay, tagal naman mag-isip ng example. Okay. So, 74953. Sige, marami naglagay. So, I prefer the 74 para 95. Yung 999, very much obvious yun na. So, maganda rin yung binigay ni Mr. Limbis, 11,664. Kay Miss De La Peña, 918. So, 5-digit number. So, the same story with Miss Magalong, 99,999. But let's just say 74,953. If you try to get the sum of the digits of this number, so ano yung sum niya? So, you can just say 7 plus 4 plus 9 plus 5 plus 3. What's the sum? Ano, it's 5 plus 3. What's the sum of this one? Divisible ba siya by 9? 28. So, gawin na lang natin tong 8. Para siya ay divisible by 9. Tama ba ako? So, 28 ay hindi divisible by 9. Tama, no? So, we just say this is 27. So, that is divisible by 9. I know for Miss Zubiri and Mr. Limbis, alam na nila to. So, quiet na lang kayong dalawa. So, with this one, so we have 74,853. So, you have been saying that when a number is divisible by 9, the sum of its digits is a multiple of 9. So, how are you going to explain this further without just considering that one? So, how can, if I will ask you to give me justification, how sure are you that for any number whose sum of its digits is a multiple of 9, it's definitely a number that's divisible by 9. So, how are you going to justify this one? So, what basic concepts in math are you going to use so that you can justify that this is for any number that will give you a sum of its digits is a multiple of 9, it's really divisible by 9. Anong gagawin natin? So you go back to the basic math concept. So if you, I will ask you to give me the expanded form of 74,853. So you can just say 74,000. So that is 70,000 plus, you can have 4,000 plus, you can have 800 plus 50. Kasi kailangan natin mapakita ng sum of digits niya ay really a multiple of 9. How can we justify that it is really divisible by 9? So based on this one, this is a concept that you already know when you were in the elementary, right? So the expanded form of the number 74,853 is 70,000 plus 4,000 plus 800 plus 50 plus 3. Now, your goal is to separate the digits 74853 from that number. So what basic math concept are we going to apply? So that we can separate the 7 from the 70,000, the 4 from the 4,000, the 8 from the 800, the 5 from the 50. So what basic math concept can we integrate? Anyone? Basic addition lang. Decomposition, right? Basic concept yan, right? Decomposition of numbers. So if I will ask you to decompose, you decompose 70,000 such that. Or you can just expand it first as 7 times 10,000 plus 4 times 1,000, right? This is also a basic math concept. Plus 8 times 100 para baka mas makita nyo na yung gusto kong mangyari. 5 times 10 plus 3. Plus 3 rather. So you try to decompose, apply or integrate the concept of decomposition of a number so that you can separate the 7, the 4, the 8, the 5, and the 3 from the original number. So you try to decompose the 10,000. So 7 times, pa-decompose yung 10,000 such that after applying a basic property, we can already have a 7 as a separate term. Just divide it into two numbers, right? So the 10,000, will you give me a decomposed form of 10,000? Kung sino na magbigay? Mr. Linguist. Sige. Mag-cheat na tayo. Mr. Linguist, will you give me the decomposed form of 10,000? Oh, nawala na si Mr. Linguist or Miss Subiri. Will you give me the decomposed form of 10,000 such that our goal is to have to separate the 7 from that number? Uy, may kausap pa ba ako? Miss Magalong.
Kung natin po ba,
5,000 plus 5,000? Well, hihiwalay ba natin yung 7 for pag ginamitan na natin ng basic property? Miss Subiri or Mr. Limwis, anong gagawin natin dyan sa 10,000? I-compose lang natin into two numbers. Ay, wala. Nakalimutan na nila. So that will be basic math lang, decomposition. Ang goal natin. Tapos syempre pag habang you do that, 9,000 plus 1,000. Hindi. Hindi natin mahihiwalay si 7. Plus 0, hindi rin natin mahihiwalay si 7. So it should be what? Should be 9,999 plus 1. Bakit ko inisip yan? Kasi, pag nag-distributive property tayo, 7 times 9,999, we are sure that that is divisible by 9, right? Then, plus 7 times 1, mahihiwalay na natin, tama? Right? Kasi ang goal natin, ihiwalay natin yung digits eh, di ba? So, therefore, if that's the case, ano nang gagawin natin? So, erase ko muna yan for na. Ay, sorry. Na-erase na lahat. Sige, ulit natin. Based on memory, 74,853 is equal to, tama ba? Ako na naalala. Feel free to check. Plus 4,000. Masipag yung eraser ko. Ni-erase na niya lahat. So, we have, that is 7 times 7 times 10,000 plus 4 times 1,000. Naisip niyo na yung mga susunod nating gagawin. Plus 8 times 100 plus 5 times 10. Diba yung mga basic concepts na natutunan nyo ng elementary, nagagamit talaga sa higher math sa pag sa inyong pag-aaral. So, hindi wag niyo sasabing tapos na, you're done with your elementary math courses, from your high school math courses. Those are actually important. The concepts that you have learned when you were in the elementary and high school are really important, especially in justifying or proving your point in a certain problem, just like this one. So 7 times, we have 9,999 plus 1. That's just 10,000, right? Plus 4 times, so what's the expanded for now? So it will just be 999 plus 1 plus 8 times, we have 9 plus 1, no, rather 99 plus 1 plus 5 times 9 plus 1, right? Plus 3. And then you apply now the distributive property, right? So, siguro napapansin nyo na the properties that you have learned in your elementary are very useful. Closure property, you have your commutative, associative, the identity, the inverses, the distributive property. Those are very important properties. So by the time that you are already in the field, you are already teaching. So you give emphasis to the definitions, to properties, because they are really very useful. Okay? So do not just define or state them just for the sake of complying with the curriculum guide that's given. You have to give more meaningful explanation for better understanding so that they can appreciate it. Okay, so with this one, by the distributive property, so we just say we apply the distributive property. So applying the distributive property, what do we have now? It's now equal to 7 times 9,999 plus 7 times 1, right? Plus you already have, kasi laging ginagamit. So dapat pag ginamit niyo yung mga properties na yun, as a teacher, you should know saan manggaling yun, right? It's not just because you found it in a book, it was stated, and it's an acceptable rule as a teacher. You should be able to, baka may magtanong, di ba, ng mga bata, ba't naging ganon? So at least you're ready with a possible explanation for better understanding. So plus 5 times 9. Okay, check. Baka mali ako ng inilalagay. Plus 3. And then you can apply now your associative property. So apply di muna. Apply muna yung any number multiplied by 1 is equal to the number itself. Apply the multiplicative identity. Tama ba? Multiplicative identity. Ayun yung tina-target ko sa inyong presentation. Yung marami kayong maisip na mga basic properties na pwede nyong gamitin para mas engaging at mas productive yung magiging demonstration ninyo. So, it's equal to, so pwede na natin lagay na 7 times plus 7, right? So, dyan na natin in-apply yung plus 4 times so we do not just give an answer, so we must be able to justify it para mas ma-appreciate ng magiging students ninyo yung pag-aaral nila sa mathematics at saka yung mga properties that you are using. Plus 5 plus 3. And then, sabi ko nga apply associative property. Ayoko na munang gumamit ng eraser ko kung may erase ako, baka ma-erase ko lahat. Okay, by applying the associative property, anong gagawin natin dyan? Nilitan ko lang, visible pa ba sa inyo pag nilitan ko? So ano na yung dalawang groups natin? You try to, nakikita nyo pa ba? Sorry, nilitan ko. Miss Magalong.
Pag samasamahin na po natin yung 7, 4, 8, 5, and 3. Tapos lahat po ng minumultiply natin sa yun po yung magkakasama po.
Okay, so ano yung yan? Di ba associative yan? So, basic properties. So, gusto kong ma-appreciate nyo yung mga basic properties na alam nyo na para mas, you should know them by heart. Lalo na pag kayo ay nagtuturo na makikita nyo yung importance nun para hindi nyo lang bypassing, you do not just mention those properties. Rather, you have to explain well and give illustration for each para mas ma-appreciate ng mga magiging students nyo. And at the same time, our goal is for you to be more conversant, right? Be more fluent in doing your explanations because that's one important skill para ma-appreciate din ng students natin yung math. Okay, so you know that this one is lagay muna natin ito para mas ma-connect ko siya. 74,853. We know that you said that this one is a number that's divisible by 9, right? That's the premise. So I asked you earlier, you give me one example of a 5-digit number that is divisible by 9. So that's an assumption. And this is true because it is, when we said that it's an assumption, it's true. We accept it as true statement. So 74,853 is divisible by 9. And if you try to take a look at this one, obviously this one is also whatever the sum of these numbers, it's divisible by 9, right? We're sure that this is divisible by 9. Do you agree? Yes, because that is 9,999, 4,999, and so on and so forth. So we said that this one is divisible by 9, this is also divisible by 9. So if I will try to consider now 74,850, so sige, apply addition property. So, when I say addition property of equality, ano yung tinatarget ko na gawin dyan? You can just have 74,853. So, we add a negative of this to both sides, right? That's why I'm saying it's addition property. So, we just plus the negative, or that's just the same as 7 times 9,999 plus 4 times. So, if you're going to add the negative of one, that mathematical expression, plus you have 8 times 99 plus 5 times 9 is equal to, ang naiwan na lang, yung ating 7 plus 4, 8, 5, saka 6. Okay, so sabi natin, it's an assumption that this is divisible by 9. And you can clearly see that this one is divisible by 9. So therefore, what action, basic action, can tell us that this is really, we now have justified that this is really divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. What property will tell us that this is correct? By, sabi natin, 74,853 is divisible by 9. The expression, the mathematical expression represented by 7 times 9,999 plus 4 times 999 plus 8 times 99 plus 5 times 9 is also divisible by 9. What action is that? Usually, yun yung una-una nating dinidiscuss when you discuss the basic properties of real numbers or integers. It starts with C. Minention na rin natin yung mga naunang-unang discussions natin. It's yung idea na if you are adding, for example, A is an integer, B is an integer. We know that A plus B is an integer because of what property is that? Well, let's consider specific numbers. 3 is an integer, 8 is an integer. 3 plus 8 is 11. Definitely 11 is an integer because of what property? Ay, nakalimutan na nila. Sometimes ay kailangan yung mga basic properties natin din sa ating ginamit natin actually nung nagkunan ko ng showing ano ba yung example natin. Yung example ko nung 2 weeks ago na ginamit natin. Before ng presentation, ano ba yun? Ay, yung showing that 2n minus 1 is still based on our definition na 2k plus 1. Closure, yes, Miss Maganda, that's correct. By the closure action, bakit closure action? Because 74,853 is divisible by 9, right? And then this one, so this is divisible by 9. This is also divisible by 9. The minus there is the same as the adding the negative of this, right? So by the closure action, we are adding two numbers that are divisible by 9, or that's just the same as saying plus the negative is sinabi kong sum, right? So if you get the difference, you're certain now that this is also divisible by 9 by the closure action. Tama. Yes, so that's by the closure action. So that justifies that if a number is divisible by 9, then the sum of the digits is a multiple of 9. So we are sure of that. Because of, ano lang yung ginamit natin, mga basic properties that students already know as young as when they were in the elementary, right? O, yun yung, especially pag nag-number theory kayo yan. Mga ganyan yung inyong mga pag-uusapan. Pero syempre may dagdag. Okay? So, it says there, good thinking is not only a matter of skills, but a matter of disposition. So, that is your curiosity, so open-mindedness, persistence in showing that it is really divisible by 9 and the sum of the digits is a multiple of 9. So, parang mga ganyan yung gusto ko hanapin ninyo, magandang problem for discussion for a maximum of 20 minutes. Siguro kahit mga 15 minutes and then the remaining 5 minutes ay for critiquing, comments from classmates, for possible improvement para doon sa inyong final na problem-solving demonstration. So, ang goal natin, hindi lang tayo nagsosolve to develop your ability in explaining and integrating different concepts. Be more conversant to your future students and having a clearer explanation so that we can have more students who will love math more in the future. Hindi yung puro negative. Clear kung ano yung goal natin. Okay. So now this is the second, right? Good thinking is not only a matter of skills. Kasi yung magiging unit 3 naman natin, yung review naman ng inyong mga basic grammar rules. Para mas maging conversant nga kayo sa pagtuturo. Right? So, yun yung magiging goal natin. Hindi naman natin sinasabi, hindi naman tayo magtuturo ng English. Yun lang yung ma-develop natin yung skill na magagamit natin sa pagtuturo ng math. Okay? Because we only have limited time to go through this course. Okay, now the next one is the development of thinking. This is the third. Is a social endeavor. So, third key principle ng thinking routine, right? This is the third one, if I'm not mistaken. So, this is the third key principle of thinking, to make thinking more visible. So, it's, we said that thinking is shaped by interaction, discussion, and collaboration, right? So, if you love to do siguro, I know most of you are love reading, syempre, you will enhance more your thinking ability if you share whatever you have read, right, in a certain conversation, yung educational conversation with your peers, with your classmates. So, we said that thinking shaped by interaction, discussion, and collaboration, right? And we also said that engaging with diverse perspectives challenges assumptions and strengthens reasoning. So, learning environment should be, we should foster yung dialogue, inquiry, siguro, debate, if you try to debate on something. So, yung sa mga math na sa inyo, sa pair ninyo in preparing for your problem-solving demonstration. So, you try to engage in, as an example here, mathematical discussions where students are required to justify their solutions, critique approaches, or solve problems collaboratively. So, this will help them to develop their ability to build deeper conceptual understanding. So, kagaya ng yung example ko, right? So, we are integrating the basic concepts that you already have learned. So, kung na-picture mo yon na yun yung magagamit mo ng mga concepts, then you will have a better way of justifying your solution. So, we do not just present our solutions. So, for each solution that we are going to write, kunyari in an exam, sa inyong mga math classes, alam nyo, hindi lang basta mapuno yung papel ninyo. Bawat step na sinusulat nyo ay may pinanggagalingan, may rason, ba't may sinusulat yun, right? You must be able to explain it. So as an example, we know that the best way to have good ideas is to have lots of ideas and then throw the bad ones away, right? Totoo naman yan, right? So for example, in a certain group discussion, so you will share your own ideas. So you try to classify which are the excellent ones, the good ones, or the bad ones. So you learn from each idea or ideas presented, and then you try to agree on what yung alin ba doon yung magsasagot talaga dun sa problem or sa question, right? That's why it says here, the best way to have good ideas is to have lots of ideas and then throw the bad ones away. So this is the third key principle, that is for us to develop the ability to development of thinking. So, is a social endeavor. So, makita natin yung importance ng collaboration in a certain activity, right? Para mas matuto tayo dun sa mga techniques ng mga kaklase nyo, sa ideas nila. So, let's have, as an example, so mathematical discussions where students are required to justify their solutions, critique approaches, or solve problems collaboratively, build deeper conceptual. So, this one is an example. Kunyari lang, It says here, draw a quadrilateral and select any point X in the plane. Sige nga, kuha kayo ng paper and pen. We try to do this one so that you can share your observation. Draw line segments from X to the vertices of the quadrilateral. Join in order the midpoints of these line segments. Then investigate. So ano yung napipicture ninyo dito sa example na to? Okay, Miss Magalong.
Yung napansin ko po, ma'am, para siyang pinaliit na drawing. Yung pinag-join-join ko po yung midpoints nila. Parang pinaliit na quadrilateral na ginawa ko po nung una.
So in particular, anong type ng quadrilateral? We have different classifications. Anong ginamit mo in particular?
Parallelogram po.
Okay, so you made use of parallelogram. So parang mini version ng original parallelogram mo. How about the
Yes.
others? Okay, thank you, Miss Magalong. How about the others? Did you have the same observation? Okay, sa Mr. Hernandez. So similar quadrilaterals. And bakit kaya? Any explanation? Bakit similar ang nakukuha nyo? Any observation? So, meron okay. Any quadrilaterals? So, draw a line segment from X to the vertices of the quadrilaterals. Join in order the midpoints of these line segments. Investigate. So, wala kasi siyang definite instruction, right? So, it's just a open-ended situation. So, dalawa na nagsabi. So, yun pa rin ang na-observe nila. Pag nag-math investigate, problem solving investigation, kayo mga ganyan yung mga situations na bibigay sa inyo. So, you have to analyze it. What are some basic concepts that you know that you can apply? And then if you try, for example, you give a definite length for that quadrilateral, in particular quadrilateral that you have chosen, pwede rin ganun. So you extend finding for the measurements of the smaller one. Ano kaya yung relationship na mabubuo nyo? So you can actually have, if it's an open situation, you have several concepts that you can apply so that you can facilitate a conversation inside your classroom so that you can kasi ang goal natin make our learners thinking visible, right? So if you are going to give them an open situation, so they are free to do their investigation, manipulations, they are free to apply whatever concept that they have in mind, and then you let them explain. So in that way, we can assess the ability of our students. What else? Bakit kaya ganun? Kung nagbigay kayo ng specific computations, ano na o-observe ninyo? Any additional? Okay, similar number of vertices. So kung quadrilateral, so you have 4 vertices. Kung yung mga lengths naman kaya, lengths ng original quadrilateral ninyo, kung siya man ay rectangle, parallelogram, square, or rhombus, ang pinili ninyo, and then ano yung relationship ng original kunyari yung perimeter ng original sa perimeter ng nabuo ninyo when it comes to the area, o marami, di ba? You can have several, you may also consider different positions for X, consider different quadrilaterals, consider figures other than quadrilaterals. What happens if you use points other than midpoints? That's one good example to facilitate already conversation inside the classroom if kung ang lesson nyo is about quadrilaterals, and so on and so forth. Okay, so Ms. De La Peña said the lengths correspond to the constructed segments. Yes, and in particular, what relationship can you observe about the lengths of the original and the smaller version? So makikita nyo yung marami kayong ma-integrate na mga concepts. Okay, so that's why it says here, the development of thinking is a social endeavor. So if you have this as a group activity, and for example, there are 5 of you in a group, so you assign different figures. So in particular, you may say, siguro yung general quadrilateral, and then you have your rectangle, you have your parallelogram, you have your rhombus, a square, and so on and so forth, or pwede ring trapezoid. Then you assign each one to do an observation and then come up with a generalization. Baka meron kayong relationship na makukuha, right? That's why it's important to collaborate with other classmates. At saka kung meron mang kunyaring naiiwanan, yung hindi naiintindihan yung ginagawa, then this is the time that you help one another. Right? So, walang iwanan. So, you work as a group. Okay? The fourth one is you have fostering thinking. This is the fourth, right? Requires making thinking visible. So, hidden thought processes do not promote learning. So, students must externalize thinking. So, on the part of the teacher, if the teacher cannot assess how well the students inside the classroom are coping with the material or coping with that specific lesson that's being covered inside the classroom, the teacher will not be able to come up or design a more appropriate activity or exercises to promote learning. So we also have writing, discussion, and modeling help reveal thinking processes, right? So students must be encouraged to verbalize their reasoning, showcase errors, and refine approaches. So we encourage, we know that communication is one of the 21st century skills, right? So we really have to encourage everyone to explain their thinking, explain how they come up with the solution or with their answer. So because it's important that we have to make thinking visible. That's why it says here, making thinking visible enhances understanding. So one example we have, use writing is thinking. So this is one of the thinking routines. So give opportunities for students to document their initial assumptions before doing the actual problem solving activity. Kaya nung sa similarities, so siguro there are 6 of you in a group or 5. So each one, you require each one. So the leader, so you must assign someone as a leader to assign and encourage each one to write first their ideas. So pwedeng raw ideas, and then based on the raw ideas or based on your outline, you come up with a more logical presentation, right? Hindi na makaagad-agad tayo. Yung parang smooth flow na kaagad. So you have to take note first of the important points or ideas. You make an outline and then you try to make a more logical presentation based on what you have noted. That's why it says here, writing is also thinking. Di ba? Ganun naman pag sa mga, when you were in high school, yung inyong mga composition writing, di ba pinag-isip ko ng mga parang key points, keywords, yung top sentence before you start. Hindi naman kayo smooth flowing, nagsusulat na kaagad unless you are really that very good when it comes to writing. Di ba? Nag-take note muna kayo ng key points that you would like to expound, and then you take note of the coherence of the ideas that you would like to write. So the same in mathematics. So writing is thinking. So if you try to, yung another one is classroom culture sets the tone for learning and shapes what is learned. Pangilan na to, panglima. So you have to set the expectations, norms, and interactions set in the classroom, especially if you are a new teacher and it's your first time to handle that specific set of students. So you really have to set the expectations inside the classroom. So ano yung mga teaching styles nyo, yung mga nire-require nyo sa students. So we also have risk-taking, questioning, intellectual humility, and courage, productive learning, right? So if you commit a mistake, you be brave enough to accept that you committed a mistake, and how are you going to rectify that mistake, instead of you don't want to tell your students that there's a certain error in your initial presentation. You just let them accept it as it is. No, be humble enough to accept that, oh, that part is incorrect. I'm sorry about that one. So you have to rectify it. Right? Pero syempre, committing mistakes once in a while is acceptable. But not always. Pag lagi-lagi na, yun na yung hindi maganda. Right? So once in a blue moon, you commit a mistake. And be humble to accept it. Classroom culture determines student engagement and intellectual growth. So, as an example, a culture of openness where students can freely ask, why does this method work, rather than just seeking the correct answer. So, this fosters critical reasoning and inquiry. So, that's the fifth one, right? And the next one is we have schools must be cultures of thinking for teachers. So, professional learning communities should foster collaborative reflection, discussion, and inquiry. Not, paano naman yan? Nare-require nga kaya nga din, mayroon din tayong mga certain group sa for school, so, siguro yun sa department, all those who are teaching grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and so on and so forth. So maganda talaga na mag-collaborate. So educators must continuously refine their instructional strategies through shared learning, and schools must support teachers in becoming lifelong thinkers and learners. So schools, the heads, if there's a good seminar or conference, then they will encourage their teachers to attend. So sa PNU, ganun. So we have several professional engagement. So engage in lesson study groups where teachers analyze student responses to mathematical problems, promote collective problem solving. Meron tayong sinasabi yung lesson study. So for example, there are a group of 4 teachers in a group. So they will develop one good lesson plan. Then after developing that, one of them will execute it inside the classroom. So they will, and then these other group members will do the critiquing, take note of some recommendations, how to refine the lesson plan and the delivery of the lesson. So parang ganun, hanggang sa maging maganda na yung presentation nila. That is what we call lesson study. So engage in lesson study groups, especially if you are new in the teaching profession. So learn from one another, especially from your master teachers, from those who are already in the field for more than 5 years, 10 years, benchmark from their best practices. Okay, so to make thinking more visible inside the classroom, so we try to ask more questions, because questioning will model our interest to the material being presented, or to developing or honing our students' ability to solve it or understand specific example or problem solving activity about that certain lesson that you are trying to cover in class. And when we ask a lot of questions, that will also help our learners to understand the material better, and that will serve as a guide for them how are they going to analyze each step of the solution presented, and to clarify whatever thoughts that they have. So maybe meron sila may mga misconceptions sila. So you let them share how they solve the specific problem, or how they computed, or how they came up with that specific process of coming up with the correct answer, or coming up with their presented answer. Then we also have listening. So we listen to our students' explanation. So by listening to our students' explanation, if it's possible, we take note if there are some gray areas in their explanations, then so that we can correct it at once para hindi na mag-create ng misconception or possible error in the future, especially if you are already giving a summative exam. So during the formative set of activities, during the class discussion, so let's listen attentively to our students' reasoning. So let's students thinking. Doon nakikita natin yung flow of ideas na tumatakbo sa utak nila if we let them explain their work. And that's also as a sign of conveying our respect and interest to what they're saying in class para mas ma-encourage natin silang mag-participate, right? And it's also one way of documenting, so it will serve as a tool for us to document their progress, how many of them are doing well so that we can give a more challenging set of activities, how many of them are coping with the material on the average level, how many of them needs more assistance, so we need to prepare another set of maybe examples or problems, the simpler one so that they can have a better understanding of what is being covered in class. It's also a reflection on our end, how well have we been doing with the delivery of our lesson. Baka naman they are having difficulty because we were not able to explain it well, and there are some parts of the lesson that we were not able to explain to their appropriate to their level of understanding. So yun yung dapat na lagi nating tinitingnan. That's why it's important for us to monitor the progress of our students. Kasi ang monitoring naman hindi lang naman sa performance ng students. That is also a reflection on our delivery of the lesson. So it must be a reflection on our delivery of the lesson and bakit sila nahihirapan. Ano naman tayo yung problema, right? Or kung nahihirapan man sila, bakit kaya? Talaga bang medyo mahirap yung lesson na yun? Do you need to prepare simpler set of activities? So, ganun lagi, right? So, these are the essential key points that we need to understand so that we can make our students' thinking more visible. Okay, so visible thinking approach in the mathematics, we know that it will serve as a pedagogical framework that emphasizes making students' thought processes explicit, fostering deeper understanding, and encouraging metacognition. So we should be able to, of course, prepare materials that are appropriate to their level of understanding. So once they already are already confident with the basic ones, then let's make it more challenging, little by little. Hindi ka agad yung nagsimula kayo sa super mahirap na material, right? So in mathematics, this approach helps learners articulate their reasoning, visualize problem-solving strategies, and connect mathematical concepts meaningfully. So these are the key principles of visible thinking in mathematics. Kanina ay key principles to make integrating the visual thinking routines, right? So we should elicit multiple representations, so express mathematical ideas through diagrams, graphs, tables, and equations. Kanya-kanya kasi tayo ng learning style, right? Meron mga visuals, meron talagang based upon reading the problem, alam na nila kaagad kung ano yung mga key points na pagtutuunan nila ng pansin that will give them an idea what operation or operations you're going to apply. But there are some instances wherein it's better if you make a diagram or an illustration, right? So that you'll be able to formulate the correct representation or equation so that you can solve that problem. So in that case, makikita nyo rin kung faulty yung representation. So, ibig sabihin, that is already an indicator on our end that that student did not comprehend well the given information in the problem. That's why he or she cannot represent it correctly. But if you can see that a student was able to represent it correctly, so naintindihan mo, that's already indicator, okay, reading comprehension-wise, naintindihan niya yung material. Okay, naming and sequencing strategies. So recognize different problem-solving methods and organize thought processes. Right? We also have connecting mathematical ideas, just like what we have done with divisibility by 9 and the preceding example, right? We connected to the previous math ideas that we already know. So encouraging mathematical discourse. So use structured discussions to refine reasoning and clarify misconceptions. So if we encourage them to be more confident in explaining their work. O yun yung ganun yung magiging expected delivery natin sa ating problem-solving demonstration, right? Para yung mga magko-comment to give some suggestions, representation. So be more generous in giving suggestions for refinement of the presentation of each pair. Para pagdating sa, tingnan natin yung magiging improvement pagdating sa pinaka-fine. Same material, you just give the improved version of the initial demonstration. Okay, sige nga ito. Let's have one example. Sige, pakibasa and then answer the question at bakit. And you can also point out ano yung concept na ginamit niyo for saying na ito yung sagot niyo. Sige, I'll give you a minute to analyze this one. Okay. Meron na bang idea kung si Carmelo ba ay truth teller or liar at bakit? Volunteer. It says here on freshman day, each new student had the option of being a truth teller or a liar for the day. The truth tellers had to speak only the truth. The liars would only speak only lies. I came upon three freshmen, Arthur, Brian, and Carmelo. Sitting on a step, I asked Arthur whether he was a truth teller or a liar. Arthur answered with his back turned, so I could not hear what he said. What did he say? I asked Brian. Brian said, Arthur says he is a truth teller. Carmelo said Brian is lying. Was Carmelo a truth teller or a liar? And why? Yes, Miss Viterbo.
Good morning po, Prof. This is just my thought po, pero I think Carmelo is a liar. And my reason is, if kahit na magtanong tayo kay Arthur, even if we ask Arthur whether he is a truth teller or a liar, if he is indeed a truth teller, he would say he is. But if he is a liar, he would say na truth teller pa rin siya. So I think Brian is telling the truth and Carmelo is the liar. But this is just my thought. I want to know what others are thinking.
Okay, so do you agree with the answer of Miss Viterbo? How about the others? Is it clear? Did she give her argument clear enough for you to understand? Sabi niya ay, Carmelo said Brian is lying because the premise is that a truth teller for a day must tell the truth, speak the truth only, right? The liar for a day will only speak lies for a day. Carmelo, so Brian said Arthur says he's a truth teller. So in the event na kung si Brian man ay truth teller or liar, yun pa rin naman ang sasabihin niya, right? So kung siya ay truth teller, definitely, sabi nga ni Miss Viterbo, he will only tell the truth. If he's a liar, then still, he will tell that, that Arthur is a truth teller. So therefore, among the three of them, so Carmelo is a liar. Tama ba yung sinabi mo, Miss Viterbo? Carmelo is a liar.
Yes po.
Or do you agree with her argument that Carmelo is a liar? Malinaw ba yung kanyang explanation? Yes, so Carmelo is a liar. Okay, let's have, we still have time for another example. I'll just skip this one. Ito na lang. Para more discussions. Okay, so I would like a clear explanation how they would accomplish the given situation. So in the movie Die Hard with a Vengeance, Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson are given a 5-gallon jug and a 3-gallon jug. They must put exactly 4 gallons of water on a scale to keep a bomb from exploding. Explain how they could accomplish this. O kayo muna pala analyze. Sige, we still have more than 16 minutes. Ito na yung last example natin. Then we'll just have a continuation of this one. Marami pa akong examples actually. So, sa next, tama ba? Wellness break sa Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Sige, so Friday next week ulit tayo. And then for the remaining few minutes, let's go over the template given in our LMS. Baka may mga questions or clarifications kayo kung anong gagawin natin doon. Yes, Mr. Fernandez. Medyo hindi malinaw yung reception mo, Mr. Fernandez. Hernandez rather. Sige, sige. Try again. Nawala ba si Mr. Hernandez? Medyo choppy siya, di ba? Tama ba? O sa end ko lang?
Medyo choppy po.
Okay, so I'd like to explain. Sige, makita muna natin. So, balikan natin to later. Muna tayo dun sa habang nag-iisip si Mr. Ayos. Okay, let's just go over the guidelines. Kung may questions ba or clarifications, feel free to raise your questions or concern. So this one is under the learning outcome. Utilize different strategies. This is under Unit 2 actually. Utilize different strategies to effectively teach and communicate mathematical concepts in English, fostering a deeper understanding of both problem-solving techniques and mathematical language. So I already have shown some examples earlier, right? So, and then these are the specific instructions. So we have selecting a math problem. So you choose a good one for your presentation. So you are free to choose any. So choose an appropriate problem that is choose a problem that's appropriate for instruction and demonstrate meaningful application of mathematical language. See to it that the problem you have chosen requires explanation beyond mere computation, emphasizing reasoning and clarity, because that's one of our goals for this course, right? You choose an instructional strategy that you would like to use. We'll have a continuation of our discussion of the different thinking routines. So, hindi ko pa na-present yung sample of thinking routines that we are going to use in math. So, select as teaching strategy or kahit wala dun sa examples that I'm going to use, as long as you have done your research, you have chosen more appropriate teaching strategy, even it's not within the scope of the ones we have covered in class, you are free to do it. So that's why you are free to select a teaching strategy that supports understanding mathematical language. So you may use any thing that's appropriate, like scaffolding, theory-based learning, visualization, verbal reasoning, interactive questioning, or any other appropriate technique or strategy that you feel that is commendable one that you're going to use for your chosen problem. Sorry. Justify whether the chosen strategy is effective for conveying both problem-solving techniques and mathematical terminology. So yung mga basic math concepts ninyo, so paki-review in doing that problem. So structuring and the explanation. So use precise mathematical vocabulary to clearly articulate your problem statement or the problem that you have chosen, correct statement. Demonstrate the steps logically, emphasizing the connections between mathematical operations and their verbal explanations. Keep your explanations clear and accurate for learners with different levels of understanding or abilities. So utilizing English language effectively. So you have to use appropriate mathematical terms while maintaining grammatical accuracy and fluency. To explain concepts in full sentences rather than relying solely on symbols and equations. Engage the audience through questioning techniques that reinforce comprehension and participation. So, interactive and engaging delivery. So, kayo nang bahala kung ano yung sa tingin ninyo ay mas magiging appropriate sa delivery ninyo. So, if there's a need for it or incorporate visual aids, diagrams, or physical models. So, as I've mentioned earlier, so dapat dalawang setup. So, may plan A, plan B. So, meron kayong naka-design for online, tsaka face-to-face if ever maging ganito pa rin pagdating ng June na dependent tayo sa i-announce nila na tayo ba online or face-to-face a day before, right? Yung late mga 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. sila nagsisend ng information sa atin. So you have encourage audience interactions through guided questions, asking questions kasi sabi natin ay we would like our audience we would like to assess, to make their thinking more visible as we interact with them, right? Demonstrate enthusiasm and confidence, making the mathematical concepts approachable. So, assessment criteria, ito lang yun. So, we have, ginawa ko ng 25% for each. Strategy selection, mathematical communication, problem-solving approach, and engagement of the audience. So, you are given maximum of 20 minutes. Sa maximum ng 20 minutes, kasama na doon dapat yung comments, suggestions, recommendations coming from the audience. So, at most, mga 15 minutes. Kahit isang problem, di ba kaya? Tingin ko kaya naman. Ipa-practice nyo naman yun. Okay, so as an important note, as I mentioned, so this is work in progress habang inaaral natin yung iba pang components pagdating natin sa Unit 3 about basic grammar at saka yung ating math language, in particular yung ating basic terms sa logic, right? So your initial demonstrations, kung ano man yung na-cover natin, and then for your final, kung ano man yung sa tingin niyo mas natutunan niyo, kung na-review na natin yung mga basic grammar sa at saka yung sa logic, then tingnan nyo kung paano nyo mas ma-refine at based din sa naging recommendations or suggestions na naging audience natin. Is it clear? Mr. Hernandez, okay na ba ang connection or gusto niyo pag-isipan and then that will serve as our initial discussion sa sunod na ating pagkikita? Okay, so I guess that ends our session for today. May questions ba, clarifications, or wala naman? So I'll take a screenshot of paki-open ng camera kung kayang i-open, if possible. So we only have, kami lang tatlo, si Miss Magalong, Mr. Corcuera, Mr. Hernandez. Yung iba, ito lang ba klase nyo today? Okay, so isa lang. Sige, wait lang. I'll take as, sige, if you're ready, so yun lang mga nag-open, so smile. Okay, so that ends our session for today. So, mag-meet na kayo ng kapartner nyo, hanap na kayo ng magandang problem para sa inyong presentation. So, free kayong pumili ng kahit na ano. Okay? So, basta may plan A, may plan B. Thank you for attending. See you Friday next week. Hopefully, face-to-face tayo. No? Okay, you are free to leave the lift.
Thank you po, Prof.
Okay.